Camacho,
Here.
Melissa Samborski.
Here.
Amy Regner,
Here.
and Mike Shaver.
Present.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get, oh, sorry, Wayne. Cut you off.
You can.
No, that's fine.
You can.
I was gonna say, before we get to our next, our presentation, I just wanted to say thank you all for, your work on the board. It was Board Appreciation Week last week, so we just got you guys a little something. We appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very
Okay,
Okay.
now we can get to the presentation from Nexus.
Which was very nice.
You can probably, you can just stand here if you want. Does that work, Jake? Okay.
Excellent. I don't think I've met most of you. I'm Sharon Gould, the Senior Program Manager with Nexus, overseeing the Nexus portion of the design project for the referendum. So we'll just run through the different areas on the project.
Can we please get sorry to interrupt, but can we please get a speaker or some sort of microphone closer? I can barely hear the presentation that is going on.
You need one of those? Could she take that?
Well, I can move
No,
his
that's
phone
not gonna
to
help
you
him on the
probably.
phone.
Is that, because I could just.
Want that microphone right there that he,
Probably if she stands right in front of him.
That's gonna be good for
Yeah, these
those,
microphones are just
but
for the
it's not gonna
cameras.
do anything
She needs
for
to be
him.
up by
Yeah.
the phone. Okay. So I can move that if you want. I can, well, it's nicer to have it closer and my back will be too.
No,
That's fine, I'll be.
Oriana, is that better?
Is this, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'll just briefly, I'm Sharon Gould, Senior Program Manager for Nexus, overseeing the referendum phase of design. So we're just, if you can see the presentation, we're just going to highlight the different areas as we go through it. So next. So we always like to start out with a purpose, like why am I here? I just want to give you all an update where we are. We're a little bit past 50% design, but I want to walk you through what, where we started, where we are today, and, things will continue to evolve as we move through the rest of the design phase. Next. So we've had a lot of good collaboration so far. We've had 9 main design meetings with the district leadership team, and select staff have participated. We've had miscellaneous specialty meetings with our team, the district team, again with select staff, maintenance, teachers, tech ed, athletics, culinary, the folks who are, the experts who deal with this every day. It's really important for us to hear their feedback. And then we have done one building tour. We went to Oak Creek High School. They did a lot of renovation work recently that was very similar to a lot of the spaces that we're renovating today. And then tomorrow, we're gonna go out to Gateway, Elkhorn to be able to see different flooring options, so we really wanna make sure that we're seeing, have examples, things like that of the work that we're gonna be designing. So next. So continue. So I always like to just give a quick summary of the scope of work. So this is what we saw as a referendum scope of work. We have the north parking lot work with ADA, we have the south parking lot work with ADA. We're doing work in the stadium, we're redoing the track, we're looking at the plaza, laying that out, doing the maintenance building, providing daycare with the playground and other miscellaneous things like equipment protection, concrete replacement, things like that throughout the site. So next. So I just highlighted here, based on the feedback that we have and some code understanding, is we are updating the ADA access to the lot right outside here. Part of that is we have to adjust some of the grading so it's a little bit, flatter for folks with like wheelchairs and things like that. And then we are doing a lot of surface maintenance, so we are restriping. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, finish, I'll let you finish first.
Go ahead with the questions.
Do we have permission from the fair, cause that's
Yeah.
fair,
That was one of the very first things we did, is to make sure that we were allowed to do this work.
okay,
So, yeah, we don't wanna do work for somebody else and not have it work out for us. So
Understood.
we're very cautious about that. So you can see the surface maintenance, we did restripe out the lot, and I believe we lost 1 or 2 stalls, but nothing significant. So moving to the south parking lot, we also reviewed for ADA access, so it was pretty good, but there was still some tweaks that we needed to make to provide better access to the door A and to the stadium. And then we also are doing lot maintenance here as well. This is only part of the parking lot that's shown, but you can see we'll restripe it, make sure that the ADA ramps and the access is there, clear for people to use, so.
So was this not done previously, or because of changes we're making, we have to update this, or why are we doing this now?
There's just more to it. So where it was pretty far along, but the things that we're looking at with the surveys and everything like that is, some of it's the grade. It was too steep, so we had to flatten certain areas out. And then, with the north side in particular, to have full access, like one of the examples I think that really rang home for all of us is like a student had a broken leg and she couldn't park with her friends, so she had to park on the south side, and like the north lot didn't have that ADA access for someone with crutches to get from her car into the building. So, with the board meeting with the public and things like that, the north need is probably easier to explain than the south need. So if somebody in a wheelchair were to come to a school board meeting, they would have the full ADA path. It's not just a parking stall, but it's the ramp, it's, how ramp meaning the grade, how flat or steep it is, and just making sure that there's a safe path from those, I hate calling them the handicap spots, to the building. There's a safe and viable path for someone who needs assistance to be able to get into the building.
So are we currently not up to code, or that wasn't in consideration previously when we had done that?
I think we're more up to code. ADA is one of those things that,
Changes.
it changes, but it also, you go in projects, you go as far as reasonable. And so that's true inside the building too. So we have to bring a certain percentage of inside the building to meet ADA. It's, for renovations, it's a percentage of the budget. And so ADA, like, if you, I'm just trying to think of a good way to articulate this. Like, we're only as a design and construction team, like, for an existing building, you can never probably have the whole thing up to 100% ADA if it's a really old building. There's always gonna be something that's infeasible, it's too expensive, it's really hard to fix. And so in a case like this, it might be the feasibility, we're way into these parking lots, so it makes sense to bring it to that next level.
And this is budgeted and was budgeted for appropriately?
Yeah, it was. So we're covered.
So simplifying it somewhat is, that was ADA compliant when we put it all in. Through the regulations and everything that's changed, since we're doing this, we're gonna bring it up to compliancy as of 2025, correct?
And some of it is, it's not like it's more in compliance.
That's what I meant, yes.
As opposed to, cause it's like, if you know better, you do it, kind of thing. And as you have the money and have the different pieces, you bring it farther along as you can. Okay, so the green area is kind of the areas we're focusing on, and I think we, just making sure the full ADA review, and then like the lot maintenance on the south side. So it wasn't as major down here, but there's still some tweaking with the safe paths and things like that, that we're making sure that we're clearly identified and following. And feel free to continue asking the questions. This is easier as a discussion than a pedestal. So, all right, so what we also did, maybe you're aware, maybe you're not, but we did release an early bid package for the stormwater retention ponds, both of them actually. So this is the one on the south side. This was actually taken out of the bid package. The bids are back in and been reviewed, and right now we're in the process of reviewing contracts, doing all the paperwork, getting the project started for work to commence in about a month for the fall. And I don't know about the other bid pack. I'll talk about that when I get to the other slide, but clearing and grubbing, it was actually pretty complicated, but we were able to figure out what the original design intent was and follow along, and that simplified permitting is still not simple by any means, but we're in alignment with what went out before, so the work that we need to do is a lot more straightforward. And I know I'm being a little bit vague here, but we confirmed that this design pretty much matched what was originally installed. If it wasn't the case, we had had a lot more hoops to jump through.
Is this gonna alleviate some of our problem? Because, because we have problem through that whole back. So clearing, grubbing,
Draining,
re-drainage, focusing on the drainage and we're focusing on the drainage and everything, correct?
correct.
That's what I
That's
mean,
the outcome.
yeah, I see all of this and I see your elevations and everything, but I can't really read them
Right.
off of this, so I'm just wanting to make sure that our elevations and everything, cause I'm sure you did, and before bid packages went out and everything,
Right.
cause we have water problems and this is gonna accept it all.
This should take care of it, and then we'll have a maintenance plan moving forward to make sure it stays this way too.
And we know about the county gonna do work over there, so this isn't gonna infringe, or is this gonna affect us with what they're gonna do? With shutting it off and putting a new drain in
Do you
Oh,
mean
what the county's doing with the,
with the road?
no, I'm not familiar with that, but this is as it comes in and goes off the site. So this is local to the site. So what we're doing is making sure that the water pathway in is open and clear, the pond itself is cleared out to hold the water that it's designed to hold, and then it discharges in the way it's supposed to discharge. It's not doing that right now.
Correct. And that's what I'm saying, because they're gonna redo the street, they're gonna stop the drainage to the river. And I'm pretty
And
sure
this-
we go the
Yeah.
same route.
I'm not 100%, I can look into the question that you're asking.
Please.
I'll confirm that.
Please.
I think that's, instead of me looking at this is somewhat contained, but, you know, taking that step back in the bigger picture, I'll follow up and get that.
Please.
Let me just
I
write
don't
that
think
down.
it's supposed to have an impact on that, but we can confirm with, cause we met with the civil
With
engineer.
Retler and the civil for them
Yeah,
and
the
everybody.
county's civil
just-
engineer.
I just don't want that, I mean, because I know how the county operates, we all do. And I just don't want us to do all of this, and
Right.
and then them shake their heads and go, not my problem.
I can tell you, Mike, that the pond up here discharges into the creek that's beyond us, and then goes off our property. Right now, it is not discharging,
Okay.
we're 2.5 feet high on the pond side. So, it should be going into the navigable waterway that is going actually to the southeast.
Correct.
So, once it goes, I mean,
I hear you.
that would be the.
Nope, I understand totally, but I just understand that from what I was told from their engineers and talking a little over a year ago, that we're gonna have a problem.
And I have his
Possibly.
direct,
So,
contact number,
Okay, perfect,
who we spoke to at the county.
okay.
thank you.
You're welcome. No, we want to make sure that you're comfortable with what we're doing, so. Okay, so I'll get back to you in the next couple days on.
There's no,
if
there's no rush. If it's good with you, you don't have to get hold of me.
Well, I like to close the loop, just so you
Okay.
know that we didn't forget.
Thank you.
So, you're welcome. All right, so other questions? So this went out, come back, work's getting started in a month.
Great.
Okay, next. So moving around, the stadium upgrade, the area, you know, the area of work that we're looking at is, you know, we've looked at the track extension. I can't read this from, I'm gonna have to yell really loud, so this.
Do you want the microphone?
I can zoom in as well. Oh, she's a microphone.
Do you want this?
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
Hello? All right, so everyone can hear me? All right, so what we have is the track extension part of the work. So we were looking at the extension needed for the finishes, resurfacing. You know, there's some fencing repairs that we were gonna deal with, pavement around the foundation, you know, part of the sign, and then the west track perimeter fence. So those are some miscellaneous pieces and parts. And then as far as the courtyard or the plaza goes, we're gonna look at replacing the plaza finish and potentially putting
on the east side so that we could host like playoff games or some type of championship games, or we need to have a actual visitor side and a home side, and it can't all be combined?
I don't think that was part of
No.
what was approved.
Nope.
That was just a side conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, that was not in the scope.
Nope.
So I did get a little
Great
ahead
idea.
of myself, so I just want to talk through, we did work with track folks to be able to make sure that the extension was a little bit shorter than what was originally planned, which actually really helped the scope of work on the northwest corner of the track. You can see the blow up in the upper corner. It could have been really messy if we would have extended it the full length that we covered within the referendum scoping. With that, we still have the path on the north side that's clear. We don't need to extend into the wetlands at all. And so that simplified the scope of work quite a bit. We are adjusting the finish line for the timers, so I think there was one event that the track coaches couldn't do under the current system, which was part of the track extension, and we worked with the coaches and the athletic directors and some track experts to relay out the track. So that outcome is more, the finish line is the same for all events. I think it was 300 hurdles or something like that. So that should work in just nicely. Another thing is we did square off the plaza area, so the fence access is on the northeast side of the plaza, instead of the fence being closer to where I can just point. It's probably easier that way. So the fence now is gonna be up here instead of over here. So it puts the whole courtyard within the secured area of the stadium. And then if you can see, you have the, we agreed as a team, you know, the layout of the squares, the courtyards, the concrete, things like that. So that was the design that everyone approved. And one thing we're still trying to do is figure out a way, maybe to get some green space that was requested, that would be low maintenance and would be able to handle the traffic that flows through there, maybe to break it up a little bit, cool the space down, but we're still brainstorming final solutions on that.
Sorry, can you explain the fencing? What were you saying about the fencing, Lisa, or being?
The one I just pointed out.
Yeah.
So there's a gate and a fence existing right about here,
Yep.
and then we're gonna move it to right up,
Where they sell the tickets.
to right over
Yeah.
here. So we're moving it from here to here.
But is the track and the football field still gated off? Or
This won't be part of the gating, I don't believe. This will be.
I mean,
we're not
it'll still
putting-
be like a secure, it'll be
Yeah.
gated
Oh,
around.
so you're adding more gates, so that.
Right, we're
Where that
extending
sliding
it.
We're
gate is,
extending it out.
So now we can sell tickets with,
Makes sense. Okay,
Yes.
I thought you meant you were taking away that whole gate.
Oh,
No.
no, we're making
No.
it bigger within the
Okay,
stadium.
okay, I like it.
So it's like everyone's milling about in here and there, there's more space for people to go. Any questions on the track?
We're just compliant with regional and everything, right?
Yeah, that was part of, so
Okay.
Kia worked a lot on, and Herm too, like ensuring that if we host our meets, that our track is ready to go.
Okay.
Excellent. All right, next slide. All right, so moving around.
Excuse me.
clockwise, I just have the areas shown in purple. We have the new daycare playground, and I'll talk a little bit more about that with the daycare later. But this was the best location that the team came up with, considering the safety of the kids and how the kids would get to this area. So we do have two separate areas, one for the under 2-year-olds and the other for over 2. And we are looking at simple playground equipment, nothing too complicated, but just something for them to play on when they're out there. Good feedback on that as well. And then just to the east of that, you'll see the proposed maintenance building in purple. We're still gonna keep it in the same location. We're scoping it out right now. We did confirm setbacks and lot lines and all that other thing. We will have certified lot lines and surveys and titles and all that other stuff by the time we're done to make sure that there was no issues with the fairgrounds, again, another thing. But the maintenance kids shed, you know, we'll work with the village to comply with their ordinances for the location, because we are replacing it.
What are we, like with the proposed maintenance building, what are we updating or what are we doing to that?
We're essentially, I mean, we're still working with Dan to do the final scope on what we want in the new building, but it's just pretty straightforward. It's just, you know, a garage, some storage, a lift, nothing too terribly complicated, but
Cold
just
storage?
Cold storage,
Cold
yeah, we don't
storage.
want it to be an occupied space, because now the cost goes right up. Really, it's rotting, it's the old concession stand for the racetrack, and it's rotting. So they would raise it up so that we could get appropriate equipment. Right now, it's got a really short door, so you can only get a pickup truck barely in there, and then it would have more space. We would have a lift, because right now we're using the auto lab to work on equipment, which is educational space, and then also an air compressor. Anything beyond that is just, we just want a basic spot with, that we can work on.
That building's probably 70 years
Oh,
old.
it's full of
It's
every
70.
living thing you can think of, and, yeah, it's pretty bad shape, so.
and we did confirm it's completely on the district's
Was there when you were a kid. And you're older than me.
As I'm looking at this, you have proposed dumpster and material enclosure.
Yeah, so that's.
Is that,
That's where the pile of scrap metal is,
and I'm just looking at daycare. You got the kids' playground there. How secure is that when you have children?
Well, the fence, the playground will be fenced in. I mean, you can't have the kids wander off.
But-
So,
Could we, I think
Kids
what would be
come out of the
nice,
building
can
here
we
and go right to it.
pop those two around? The maintenance building and the material enclosure?
The only problem with that, we looked at that as part of the design. The only problem is if we're bringing a trailer and a large, like 1-ton dump truck, we would wanna come straight in, rather than trying to make that 90-degree turn into the door up against the field house right there.
Because you don't know how to back up?
Well, trying to prevent, but it is still in the early design process for that. Like I said, like I gave some very basic, like, we just wanna be able to have, you know, just some simple heat but beyond that, whatever design they come up with, that best works for that space. I'm just happy to have some place that's not full of, rats and birds coming after us, so.
and the kids.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we did discuss a lot of different locations for the play area too, and this one seemed to work the best for all the various conflicting needs. It's not the closest to where the daycare is gonna be, but we agreed on a path where the kids are gonna follow. Through the school, the kids are not exposed to traffic or crossing, you know, roadways or parking aisles that just didn't seem to be safe. There's other spots, it's just they were so close to the congestion, buses, things like that, that this was the place where, the team agreed it would be
Safest.
the safest.
I figured.
It's, I mean, I think the daycare is about as far away in the building as it can get, but, you know, we wanted to make sure that we were respecting the space for the kids.
What is the additional space between the over 2-year-old playground and the dumpster enclosure?
Oh, that's just a tree, the little, like, flower-looking thing.
So are we maximizing that playground space like to the most that we can on the front end rather than having, or wishing we would've added a little bit more fencing after the fact?
There is some flexibility with the size of the playgrounds too. We sized it based on, you know, what's appropriate for kids that age. You know, it could get a little bigger, but then they're chasing around kids in a bigger area. It's still a couple thousand square feet of play area for these little kids. And, we do have the trees shown on there, so there's gonna be, we're gonna be probably into some of those trees, cutting them some down.
Understood.
It's unfortunate, but that seemed to be the place that it was the least disruptive. So yeah, we could make it a little bit bigger too, but I think, you know, getting all the spaces to work together is a challenge. Other questions? All right, next. Okay, so we'll move on to the athletic complex. You know, we split these apart just for ease of navigation, so you can see the varsity baseball field, the varsity softball field, and the tennis courts, and where the secondary pond is. So the base scope here was just infield synthetic turf for both the baseball and softball varsity fields, recoding the tennis courts for basic maintenance, as cleaning up the stormwater retention pond, and updating some landscaping.
Tennis courts, don't they need just a little bit more than just, they need a little bit more than just seal coating and
So,
crack repair,
so
right?
with that, we did look at multiple options. So the budget carried essentially the cracks and the coating. And the different options, we are looking at a matte coating right now. We are having a hard time getting feedback from the installing contractors, the systems, things like that. But it's unlikely that it's gonna be more cost effective than we're trying to bring the information back in an open way so we can make good decisions. But we believe that the matte system will be more expensive, and then probably the best thing is to actually grind them down and replace it, but that's budget prohibitive. But we're still looking at the mats just to see if we can get something a little bit better with a longer life into the
I mean,
floor repair.
it might be more cost now, but it's gonna be cost efficient in the long run.
Right, I mean, the life cycle matters.
Yes.
So, trying to balance the life cycle with first cost is always a
So if we
challenge.
just put a Band-Aid on it, what are we looking at for our life cycle compared to?
Well, so we're looking at it from a warranty perspective, so we get another 5+ year warranty, which is probably similar to what it was. So, in 5 to 10 years, we'd probably be back in the same position as we are now.
And what are we looking at cost difference?
I don't have the math costs. Grinding and replacing the courts would be really expensive.
I mean,
And
it's
so-
realistically 5 years is around the corner. I mean, it's gonna start cracking
Mhm.
immediately.
Right, and so the budget carried, what we had was the basic maintenance in there. And so we can look at some, we are looking at other options to see if there's ways to go about it. The mat system, I think it was was it Burlington that, I forgot
I
which
don't
high school
remember,
had it. Oh, well, I know there was one in Illinois that had it, for sure. But looking at the other system, and we're trying to get good information so we can make an the team can make an educated decision on the best way to move forward.
Centrals?
They don't have that mat. They don't have the mat system.
Okay.
And in the referendum, do we put in redoing the courts or just fixing them up?
We just put in fixed.
Fixing
We had them
That's what I
fixing
figured.
up.
So you're gonna, then you have to steal from something else to fix that the right way. And you want them baseball fields not to be a swamp. That's my priority. I don't even play baseball, but it looks nasty when I drive by it, so it can't be fun to play on.
And we are putting a lot of emphasis to try to get some options to upgrade the baseball and softball fields with some of the baseball and softball, I don't know how else to say it, accessories. That's probably not the right word, but, so, okay, if you wanna go to the next slide, I can just show you,
You could ask.
I'll just touch on some of these other topics too. So this is just the stormwater retention pond, that's
What are
part
you
of the
laughing
package one. Those are the construction drawings, similar scope of work. Again, we confirmed that this one was less, the other one could have had a lot of regulatory issues if we didn't get the pond to match exactly, which we pretty much did. This one's more straightforward, but we are doing the clearing and grubbing and working with DNR and the village and the town, and I think this one's owned by Randall, or Randall has jurisdiction, where the other one is Salem. All right, so any questions on that?
Let me know if Salem gives us any problem. I'll
Just
straighten
keep
that
going.
out.
So this was my tennis court slide, so you can see, this is the area that we're looking at. I think we already talked through this. I don't have much more to add.
Just a quick question on that one.
Mhm.
Is there a way, and I'm not a tennis person by no means, is there a way to make one tennis court one way and the other 3 a fix? And do it in incremental? Is that a possibility, or is it more of a hassle? Don't lower your head on my question.
Oh, no, I
No, it's, I'm thinking.
And I'm just saying, I mean, I'm thinking outside the box. I know we only we did the referendum for just resurfacing and coding and stuff like that. I'm fully aware of that. But as we delve into this and what we can and cannot do and where we can, unfortunately, I hate to say this, rob Peter to pay Paul. You know, could we start with fixing one court to X and then resurfacing and doing others a different way, or is that more of a hassle? And like I said, I'm not a tennis person by no means. I've probably never been over at the tennis courts, so I have no idea. I just know they are cracked because I know tennis people, and they complain about it, but
Probably the biggest question I would have, I think that's an interesting idea, I think it's worth at least asking the question and digging into it some more. But the question that comes to mind is how many courts do you need at one time that are good? Like if you have a varsity meet, how many courts do you need for the varsity meet or the JV meet or practice and things like that? So it might not be like a quarter, it might need to be a half or something. But to me, that would be really important to make sure that the meets, you know, the meets can still be hosted or practice can occur in a way that's conducive to the tennis program.
And instead of just robbing Peter, we're only pickpocketing them for a few dollars.
Right.
I was just thinking outside the box. So,
It's
I
a
mean,
good thought.
Well, and I try to say, you know, if you don't ask the question, we can never answer it.
But then you gotta pay for the other half somewhere, or something.
Somewhere down the line, you're gonna have to do it again anyway, so.
Right. So, no, okay.
Or you
Awesome.
have a long-term plan in so many years.
Correct.
and really dig in.
That you can keep going.
Yeah, good call.
I mean, the mountain system sounded interesting, we're just trying to get, you know, it's not that common, and we're asking the questions, so.
We've heard
We're still
mixed
asking
reviews, so like
questions.
Kia is looking into some of that too and is hearing some mixed reviews on it, so we just wanna make sure that if that's the direction we would go, that it works the best for
Yes.
the
That's
players, yeah.
Right, I was gonna say, if it's another 5 years, well, whatever.
We actually, Kia and I actually went over to Badger to look at theirs because they just had theirs redone with kind of what we're talking about. Luckily for them, their cracks go exactly underneath the nets and their cracks go exactly like
Down the
outside
side
the court
seams?
line. So I'm like, why can't ours do that, you know? But it was just, they did pretty much the patch and did that. So, and then he was gonna look into like Barrington, I think was one of the other.
Oh, boy.
I don't think I'm
Let's not go that route.
Does it have to do with anything what's underneath there?
It does.
Okay,
So, that was all fill.
yep,
So we could grind it down and still be in the same, you know.
right,
position.
okay.
They're pretty significant, but Badger had some pretty significant crack too, and they just had some significant work done, so we're in Wisconsin, unfortunately.
Unfortunate, yeah, I know.
Blacktop's gonna crack.
Okay,
Well, I just wanna make sure that we're, you know, your comment, Dan, like double checking where the expansion joints and things like that are just, you know, they might have more control cracking, like it's gonna happen. But maybe
Well, they
we
put
can
theirs on
tell.
top of an existing parking lot, so there's like even more, you know, stability than we.
Well, let's make ours like Roland Garros, you know, red clay.
Just rake it out.
There you go.
So that's where we stand with the sports. These questions are great. I really appreciate all of them as they come back. So, all right, moving on to the baseball or softball. I overly simplified this slide. You can see we squeezed a logo in behind home plate. We're checking with the turf manufacturers to see how detailed, it might just be a W, but at least you can see what we're attempting to do. And then we're looking at different fencing options right now to see what we can carry. And then, you know, we are turfing up the infield. It will provide drainage for the infield, but we are not doing too much in the outfield.
Is the fencing easy to be replaced?
turf and stone.
So in not doing a lot in the outfield, what do you call not a lot? Is there gonna be grading? Is there gonna be anything done in the outfield, or it's
No.
simply just
And what we talked
status
about
quo?
is if this area comes in under budget, we might be able to run some drainage lines or something in the outfield. It's
Okay.
not part of the scope of work right now. We're aware that there's spots in the outfield that are a little, I don't know, squishy.
Soft.
Yeah, so we're aware of that, but it might not, once the field's ripped apart, we might be able to find some solutions that are a little bit more straightforward. I know
Okay.
that's not really a clear cut and dried answer, but it's, we'll see if there's something we can do when we're under construction.
It's better than what I was hoping for.
What?
It's a better answer than I was hoping for.
We're aware, we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
So for the varsity baseball, similar type of thing, you know, fencing around the backstop, we got the logo in there, and, turf infield, and then we did agree to shorten up, I think, I got my dimension wrong, the 60 feet to 40 feet, I think that was from any baseball fans. I'm clearly not.
60 feet, 6 inches?
No, I think it was where the,
think you're right.
pitcher's mound is. to the
60 feet,
left.
6 inches.
Right,
I'm
but
better.
WIA, I think, lets us bring it in a little bit, and so we got feedback from the coaches and the, athletic director that we could bring it in a little bit, like to 40 feet.
Softball, not varsity
Yeah,
baseball.
not baseball.
We'll double check that, cause I know the WIA thing,
Ba-
but we,
Softball's 40, baseball's 60 feet, 6 inches.
yeah, cause that's what we were looking at, so I'll double check that too, cause
We'll talk about behind the plate.
was it
Mhm,
behind the
I
plate?
think so.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
we're
again, I'm not a baseball expert.
that's all right.
$1,000 in
Yeah.
baseball is
So,
the
yeah,
woods
so
and
it's
impact.
Correct.
probably this dimension, maybe it's this one here.
And in pass ball scores 2 runs, so.
Correct. Are we gonna is there gonna be overhang?
They're looking into different
yeah, we're still
options, either netting or fence.
looking into it.
Try to,
Yeah, cause there's probably enough, there's probably enough balls in the woods to,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what they were saying, that the woods had a nice collection of balls out there. We'll try to see what we can do to help out with that.
Okay.
Help in a good way, not add more. Yeah, so we are exploring bringing in the back dimension from 60 feet to 40 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, we follow all the WIA's rules. You know, we're not inventing anything. I just, user translation here. So I guess with that, what? It actually, well, hot off the press, I think we can get the warning track with the, don't quote me, but with the field coming in, it looks like that will work out.
As in what? What was the problem?
By us saving on the turf, we're able to put a warning track in, which we should really have. We don't have one.
Yeah, so it's better than a wash, it's a savings.
Never had one any other place either.
We're fancy.
Tough.
So we can put that savings.
Good job, Amy.
When did you start playing tennis?
Maybe for
5 years, if it looks like it does now, that's not
I hear you.
good for us.
So
We are-
warning track.
We are really paying attention to that, cause
Yeah.
that is one of the first conversations we had with like the athletic group, I would say. Cause there were, like, what is the best way to get that repaired? So it's part of almost every conversation we're having about that area. It's just, right now, it's the amount that was allocated in the budget, like, how do we do the best we can within that? But, yeah, some of the saving, like, we do talk about that, like, can we reallocate, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
if you remember, that was a last minute addition at the last second, like, we're just gonna go, we have a number, and I was kinda like, well, it's just a patchy number, and, I don't know how many hours I'm down at that tennis course crawling around, trying to look at those tracks, and see, like, what's the best use of our dollars on this?
And we're limited to, like it's, you know, we do look at things from a holistic big picture and try to move things around, but like with the warning track, we did some, well, we brought Peter to pay Paul, no, we didn't actually, but, we brought the turf in, so it did pay, that savings will pay for the warning track. And so we look for those opportunities too, like if we bring something in, we wanna know how we're gonna get there
We're gonna be-
financially too, so there's no ugly surprises later.
We're gonna be able to rent that out significantly.
Yeah, we did talk about Little League and, you know, flexibility on the mound.
High schools are gonna wanna use it, because how many of them have turf right now? We're gonna be the only one, I think, in Southern Lakes. So,
So that's a quick update on the varsity baseball field. So now, that's it for the outside. There's some other miscellaneous things too.
What was the conclusion with the shot put?
I don't think we're doing
We're still
anything
waiting.
with that right now.
We're waiting on that. So we're getting the track ready and set to go for, like for those, like to ensure the distances on our track are still good, and then we're on hold with the shot put discus.
But we technically couldn't host if we don't have the shot put.
Right, so we're kind of waiting till the end of the scope to figure, like, to put those pieces together for shot discus.
And if it's not in the budget, we're gonna figure it out some other way, so we're not back at the same position we are right now.
Yeah, I
Amy,
don't think, from
your
my
phone's
understanding,
going
that was-
bananas. You're all right.
Kid.
No. Oh, it just stopped. I didn't know if it was gonna stop or not. I apologize. If I knew it was gonna stop, I wouldn't have. It was just, I didn't know if it was important.
So we continue to have these conversations. We have, we have one coming up in 2 or 3 days to follow up with a bunch of these items. This is figure out if there's a way to get it to work. So moving inside, any other questions on the outside before I hop in inside? All right, so moving inside, this is the overall floor plan, referendum area work, the main office, secure entry, the tech ed updates, daycare, the CNA lab, fax labs with a classroom remodel, the district office remodel, and then just flooring finishes. We have a lot of mechanical system work and some fire protection upgrades. This map here is a preliminary map actually showing the floor areas that we're gonna be looking at for finishes. We did update it. We added the library and the auditorium, and all of that was in there in the scope. There's probably some offices that I missed in updating this thing, but essentially that's what the field trip is tomorrow, to look at good flooring options and to see how far we can take some of that stuff. So we have some pretty good ideas on solutions. You know, maybe we can free up some budget or something like that by being thoughtful about it. So, next slide.
Question, CNA lab, that was for the certified nursing assistant program. What are we, wasn't that just put in not too long ago? What are we doing to that?
Yeah, so I'll,
There's a slide down further.
Oh, okay, cause I know it's not that old, that's why I'm asking
right,
questions.
so you have the best answer is we're just freshening it up. So
Giving
we're,
it makeup.
yep, and it was moving. So I mentioned it here because, well, when we get to that
Okay,
slide, I'll
thank
touch on that a little bit
Perfect.
more. So, we do have the main entry, secure entry sequence. I don't like to always put secure entry on everything because, you know, public information.
Yep.
But, we did get the door path to work where you have, you know, some level of containment in the vestibule, another
Mhm.
level of containment in the main office.
Yep.
And then what we're looking at is probably some desk rework and having a pass-through, window instead of like open access, just to up that security in that front office. And then we are updating the cooling in this space and in the guidance office as well as part of the project. So this is, renderings are always a little bit fun. So this is the current rendering of the prototype lab. We haven't really talked about finishes and stuff yet, so this is hot off the press, no one's seen this before. You know, with maybe ceiling clouds, we don't know what's going up on the ceiling, but it's kind of to dress it up a little bit. So as the floor plan we have laid out, I just broke the tech ed into two different areas. We have the prototype lab and the CAD lab and storage, which I highlighted here. We did go through, did a team walkthrough. We're still working through some of the equipment needs for the prototype lab, so we're digging into, seeing if there's areas we can save money. The intent is to use a lot of the equipment, but if, curriculum dictates, we're trying to figure out a way to enhance that. We did expand the CAD lab into the storage room. It was actually a fairly easy expansion. It did seem a little cramped once we started to put the furniture in, so we have a little bit more workspace in the CAD lab with the teaching station that the teacher can see into the prototype lab, even when, like there might be kids working in there that need additional supervision. So that work, we talked through that pretty well. I see a door or two that needs to be updated. And then the storage room did work for the wall to shift over because there's a lot of equipment on the other walls, so we took care of that. 24 students in the CAD lab, and then I don't remember offhand how many are in the prototype lab, but we're doing it with the teacher's input, so we're making sure that we hit those targets. Next. So here's a rendering of the machining lab. Again, it looks really large. Finishes, things like that, but it's easier to visualize. A lot of people think, the renderings are. All right, next. This is a floor plan of the machining and the welding labs. So we are moving the welding booths around a little bit so they can spread out a little bit better. Again, we're trying to reuse what equipment makes sense for us to reuse and lay it out in a way that the staff, works with it. Again, trying to reuse what equipment new as required. We're still tweaking some of this too. So we have those two labs, and then we are adding cooling to the welding lab, and then ventilation, fume collector, I think is what we call it, seeing what we need to do for that, and then any electrical work to support the changes to the labs.
And all the doors are working as to how they wanted them to work?
Well, we're reacting to what they requested of us.
Okay.
So the overhead door, the swing doors are all good. The new, on the north wall, the new classroom doors are all shifting around. They did request a couple more windows into the lab so the people can see into the labs while they're working and stuff. So that's, a change in progress.
Can I
Pretty
just,
straightforward.
where you have welding lab, where you wrote that, what's underneath that?
Oh, it's
Because I
just
see something says relocate.
Yeah, it's just move something from that wall to somewhere else. It's more of a design note. And of course, you pick up on it, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try to, just have it disappear, but it didn't. So it's just, that piece of equipment where the arrow goes is gonna go somewhere else.
Looks like it says, from what I can read, like cabinet, if I'm
Yeah, so.
relocate.
I
Okay,
don't know if you can see, this piece right here is not there.
okay,
So I just,
that's fine,
we have a couple different spots for it, so.
okay.
Graphics 101. If you want, I can show you what's under there.
Nope.
Excellent. Other questions? All right, next. So moving into the daycare, so this is where your CNA lab went. The original concepts from way back in the day had the CNA lab moving into where the daycare was, and one of the daycare rooms went into the CNA lab. So as a team, we discussed that it's really important to keep all those kids in one confined space.
Yep.
So we got that to happen by moving the CNA lab back to the CNA lab. Right, so we got the 4 classrooms in there, so I do have the listing of the number of students or kids that would go in each room. We did have to add a second exit to the 3rd and 4th year olds, so you can see an exit outside going to a ramp. It's more the size of the space. And then we do have a secure entry sequence going into the daycare as well. So, you know, the kids are following the same general protocols as the school. And then we have toilet rooms for the older kids who can use them.
Yep.
And then we have storage for strollers and other, you know, baby care needs. We did a crib layout, other furniture like that to make sure the space is adequate to house all those kids. So you can see that area in orange is that contained area for the daycare.
So basically, your office is going to where the conference room is?
So this is the front, or this is that part of the,
Correct.
okay, that main road.
We would shift
So
all of
the,
that area.
the district office, is that staying or is that moving?
That
Going
should-
like this, it's getting shifted.
So like
So
that
this
way in
is-
the middle.
This here is always coming
Yeah,
down this
that
way?
way,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So where's the entryway to the outside on this one?
So the kids get off the bus here and come in through that hallway.
Okay, so,
And then is
This
this
is
all?
right
okay, so
outside
this
the
is,
district
this
office.
is south wall.
Yes,
This is the south wall.
yes.
So like this
Okay.
here,
This had me going east to west. I,
just down this hallway to this daycare, right?
I mean, there's
Had
a-
no-
like, the
Hold it
reception
up,
area
okay.
as far as like,
here's this office.
but there's emergency exits obviously.
Yes.
Alright.
And egress
This
for
is
kids to get out and.
the street out in front here.
Okay, so we're extending, going to the south.
Yeah, and we did redo all those doors.
Cause this is the,
South,
this is
you know,
where
where
we
the
don't, this is the
9
outside.
doors
This
to,
was the, this is the
show
doors that
that
are there.
This is the
Isolation
reception.
and exit
So we're
path
putting all of
this
this,
entry sequence, so
cause the bathrooms
your
are right
parent will
there.
come in.
So we're going
Session stand used to be.
that way.
Okay.
Yeah, that way. Yeah, that way. You're, yes, 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 ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
parents would come into this lobby, go into the entry, be allowed in through the reception, and then go into the space. So it's still that same level of security. And then the kids, the high school kids are isolated this way. But when we're moving the kids from the daycare to the playground, I don't know the exact path, but they would go through the high school to get there.
This
And then it would be hopefully timed
This
where
way.
the hallways are cleared.
Okay, so actually, the way we're sitting right now, it actually features this way.
Okay, so moving on to the.
Can I ask one thing of you? Could you guys put north arrows on there from here on out, please,
Yeah,
on these?
yeah.
Ask your engineer to please put a north arrow on,
That's all
on
we
his,
need.
huh?
That's all we need.
Yep.
That's all.
Please,
Cause I was
because-
asking him where I am.
yes,
They are, yeah, okay, I'll do
I
that.
did this.
because
No,
I'd have,
It's still the same thing.
you understand what I'm getting
I
at?
totally
I was,
understand what you're.
that was what I got yelled at as first year design and put your north arrow on, so, thank you,
Yes, we'll make sure the north arrows are on.
thank you.
All right, so here we are at the district office. Now I'm all paranoid, just next to the.
Nope,
daycare.
don't be, you're doing fine.
So we have 7 offices, we labeled the district administrator office, just the words are big, but, just so you know where that is, and then we had six other offices in there. Toilet rooms, a huge conference room,
Bathrooms are here. This is the door going into the
Okay.
administrative office.
Take it like this. You go down, back up one.
so architects draw things based on how it fits on a piece of paper,
Right.
just so you know. And actually civil engineers do that too, so if you notice, there was some rotating going on there too.
Sorry.
So is the district office pretty much staying in the same area, or now it's all coming this way?
Where we're
Yeah.
sitting now,
Both kind of.
So the biggest thing you're gonna
Those
notice
doors.
is this hallway,
right out,
that
Right here?
hallway that goes
they'd be almost like that.
this
Oh,
way,
okay.
Yeah.
and then
Alright,
that
perfect.
will be gone.
Thank you.
That'll be welcome.
Not trying to step on your toes, just,
So those double doors that are still over there, still,
They'll still be there. Yeah, that's district office, right? And then the kids get off the bus all the way at the right.
Yep.
That's where the bus lot is,
So
and
they
then they'll
can-
come in those double doors on the bottom.
The bathroom stay,
Mhm.
Gotcha.
does that hallway get closed off and everything just gets,
Shove
Like
food
Push,
around.
yeah.
yeah, those
Okay.
spots.
Oh, we did infill the stairs. That's why you don't see them in the middle of this, is we did look into that to see how hard that would be. Structurally, it didn't seem like a big deal. Egress seemed fine.
Are we
If you need to get down there, there's other ways to get there.
Are we gonna run into asbestos when we do this?
We will do an asbestos check. That's part of any existing building
That
that
part,
we do work on. We have to come through and make sure that it's all remediated or at least identified.
understood.
Mhm.
I know that's part of the old building.
That's so probably in like
Except
a
that
month or
that's all
two.
been redone.
Parts of it, not the stairwells and all of that.
The stairwell maybe, but there's so much that whole end
I know.
was taken down.
Well, we still test.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Never
now
Still
it
has to.
was.
Go on surprises.
Remember when the lunchroom was like a basement?
We might find
All
some
that's
interesting
gone.
things in unique spots, but,
Oh, you will.
we always test, so it's part of the process.
This will be delightful.
So with that, we have the conference room, we did talk about the safe, that's been addressed. And, the conference room is gonna be quite large, but that's
What
just,
are we gonna do with it?
that's just how it kind of wanted to be.
Okay.
Nothing else really easily fit into that space to make it a little bit smaller. We got some toilets in there and a workspace, kitchenette, things like that in there too, so. Any questions on that? All right. So going into the culinary lab, we did a bit of a rework here too. So starting with, when we were having the initial conversations, the classroom, we were gonna renovate it. I guess there was sewing and a couple other things in there. It came clear that there was other classrooms that were being underutilized, so why remodel a classroom when, with a long-term vision, these are growing programs. So the classroom space is now part of both the commercial foods lab and the traditional foods lab. So we moved the wall, split it down the middle, roughly budget-wise, not a big, well, I shouldn't say not a big deal, that's not quite how that should come out. It was roughly a wash, not really a penalty, not really saving any money either. So we have 6 workstations, we got an ADA, a little bit bigger of a space. We were able to reuse a fair amount, like the hood and other things in the commercial line. We did rearrange some of the equipment under the line based on the teachers' feedback on what would make sense and how to get more students through there. And we do have essentially a cleaner space and a dirtier space. So the cleanup is on the south where my commercial foods lab label is. And then the prep cook areas on the northish side. So if you go off, we have places they can hang their coat, their little chef's robes and things like that. And then we do have a large storage, dry storage. You can see the top of that. We did put in space for a future cooler when we were at Oak Creek. They just added a culinary lab not that long ago, and it wasn't long before they put in the cooler. We're not putting in a cooler because that's not part of the base scope of work, but we're allowing for space for that if that might want to come in the future. So we're trying to ask those questions too, like how do you think the space will be used in so many years from now? So at least we can, with what we know today, provide enough flexibility to give them options. So the cooler, as it's shown, if you see that big box in the storage room, it's right in front of a bunch of power panels. We know that's not a good spot, but at least there's space in that room to put something that large. Everything else is pretty mobile. So, pretty good feedback. You have the floor plan, the renderings. Just spread it out a little bit. I think it's, teacher station, really, really a great lab. Next. So with the traditional foods lab, what we're looking at is we have the 6 workspaces 7 workspaces with a teaching space, you know, stoves on the islands, you know, got the equipment from the teacher. So each one of those little groupings is a workspace for the different kids. There's a commercial refrigerator and freezer down in the corner. And then we do have a commercial washer dryer to clean things up. Spread it out a little bit. These labs are a lot larger now. A lot of storage came in too, so we are working through that. Those are really expensive to move.
our first bid package
There you
meeting
go,
was
it was last week, okay, yeah. So we're on our first, and now what's gonna happen is every week, we're meeting with the construction team so that we have weekly updates, so that we'll be talking through, so it's not like with us, I think it's every 3 weeks-ish
Yeah,
or
about
so,
that.
so now with the construction team is an hour every week.
So as they wind down, we're winding up with the construction tonight. We will have, the one difference is the ponds will be this fall, depending on the weather. But it's, pretty good. So that will actually start not too long.
And then once that contractor works with Kyle, then they let us know like the impact of lots and spaces and things like that, and that's when we roll it out to like let everybody know how that will be impacted over there.
What's nice with this one little job that is we're learning how that process works and what we need to react for this small little thing of the ponds, so that next year when it just opens up, we're kind of already at our feet in the water a little bit, so.
Because have we heard, I know we kind of talked about last time, what is gonna change next summer, what we can't have.
We're not there yet, yeah. And that's part of our weekly meetings with the construction team as we go through that.
Yeah, we
We'll
really,
know more in the winter probably.
yeah, we really focus on getting those ponds out the door. Huge priority. So, other things slipped a little bit to make sure that happened. But, technically, you're not doing construction and design meetings at the same time. So, when it rains, it pours. But, that way you're seeing the benefit, learning from like a little thing. But, we try to be flexible and make sure like when the condensing units went out, that we tried to come up with a solution that you wouldn't have cooling, like as fast as we could get cooling back online in the correct way. So, a lot of dynamic, just trying to make sure, as things evolve and change, as they always do, we try to help everybody through that process to get there, hopefully together. So, other comments, questions? So, thanks, and I'll be back in a couple months, so, thank you. See you tomorrow.
Okay, now we're gonna convene in the closed session to discuss concerning public promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility under Wisconsin statute 1985, sub 1, sub C.
I make a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Okay, Mike,
Yes.
Amy,
Aye.
Betsy,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
I vote yes.